You ever get hit with a fine so ridiculous it makes you laugh out loud, right before it lights a fire in your gut? That was me the day the HOA fined me $500 for fishing on a lake I thought I partly owned. So what did I do? I bought the whole 12-acre lake at a county tax auction for 47 grand and banned the entire HOA from ever setting foot on it again. Now, every morning, the woman who started this war stares out her kitchen window at a lake she thought was hers, but can't even dip her toes in. I'll tell you, the smell of fresh lake air and sweet, sweet revenge? Absolutely priceless. What would you do if your HOA tried to fine you for using your own neighborhood amenities? Seriously, let me know where you're watching from. I'm still grinning about it. Anyway, my name's Dalton Reeves. I'm 52, Navy vet, 24 years pushing logistics in places where things rarely go right, but you have to keep moving. 3 years back, after losing my wife Miranda, I moved out to Willowbrook Estates. Thought I'd finally found a quiet spot to fish think eel. 47 homes, 12-acre lake. The kind of place where you hear ducks in the morning and neighbors say howdy over their mailboxes. The HOA documents said unrestricted recreational access for all residents. I paid my dues, $200 a month, didn't complain. Most mornings, I was up before sunrise. Coffee in my old battered thermos, tackle box that still smelled like Miranda's hands. The works. Those first 6 months? Paradise. Then, here she comes, Bethany Whitmore. Real estate agent, drives a white Escalade that never has a spot of dirt, wears heels to check the mail. At first, she seemed okay. Even brought cookies, acted interested in my fishing setup. But the second she became HOA president, everything changed. Suddenly, I'm getting emails about lake usage protocols. Suddenly, there's a $75 fishing fee for maintenance and security. I tell her access is already included in the HOA dues. Her smile went arctic. Rules are rules, Dalton. Pay up or no fishing. Thing is, you spend enough time in the Navy, you learn bullies escalate when you comply. So I kept fishing. Same time, same spot. The lake was my therapist. 3 weeks later, I get a fine in my mailbox. $500. Printed on cheap paper, probably from her home printer. Violation, unauthorized use of common area amenities. I remember staring at it, just baffled. What kind of person finds a widower for fishing? Next morning, Bethany herself knocks on my door, clipboard in hand, heels ticking like a clock running out of patience. Formal notice to cease all lake activities until fees are current. I said, "Ma'am, I've dealt with worse than HOA Karens in 3 war zones." Her face, 6 shades of red before she stomped back to her Escalade. As she pulled away, I caught her glare in the rear view. Pure, undiluted rage. That night, I dug up my copy of the original HOA covenant. Page 12, Section 4. Lake is unrestricted recreational amenity for all residents in perpetuity. Forever. No extra fees, no Bethany. But the next morning, she'd escalated. Orange cones blocked every path to the lake. Shiny new signs. Lake access restricted. Permits required. She'd locked down the whole lake. I saw old Mrs. Kowalski, 78, looking heartbroken at her window. The Henderson kids asking their parents why they couldn't swim. The Patels looking lost without their evening walk. That's when I realized this wasn't about maintenance. This was about power. Standing there on my deck, watching those cones, I felt something I hadn't in a long time. That click, like when a supply chain fails and you have to figure out how to feed a base anyway. That morning, I smiled for the first time in months. Bethany Whitmore had no idea she'd just picked a fight with a man who solves problems for a living. She called an emergency HOA meeting, 3 board members out of 7. Not even a quorum. But in HOA Fantasyland, it was enough. They rammed through enhanced lake protocols. Fishing only weekends, 10 to 2, $25 a day, payable in advance. Retroactive enforcement, too. I supposedly owed $1,200. Janet, One of the board members looked like she wanted to crawl under the table. That night, I started digging. County records, old covenants, you name it. Turns out, original rules said any change required 75% of homeowners, not just a few folks in a back room. That's your nugget of knowledge. Original HOA covenants override board decisions unless a supermajority votes to change them. Most people don't know that. I took it to Marcus Webb, a real estate attorney and Navy buddy recommended. Marcus grinned like a kid at Christmas. Want to sue? Not yet, I said. Let's see how much rope she needs. And then Bethany made her big mistake. She started writing up everybody. Mrs. Kowalski for her trash cans, the Hendersons for grass height, Mr. Patel for his fence. I started documenting everything. Photos, video, Bethany measuring grass with a ruler, standing in driveways, writing notes like some suburban CIA agent. But the twist? I dug into the security contract. $18,000 for a part-time teenager to monitor the lake. I requested financial records, like I'm legally entitled to. Marcus sent one polite letter, and suddenly, I'm sitting in the HOA office surrounded by musty paper. That's when I found it. Bethany's brother-in-law owned the security company. Neighborhood money straight to her family. Meanwhile, the security guard, Jimmy Cortez, 19, was as lost as anyone. Sir, I need to ask you to stop fishing. You asking or telling, son? Honestly, I have no idea. Turns out, Bethany had him writing reports about my aggressive behavior. Like, subject displayed threatening posture by casting fishing line in intimidating manner. I kid you not. I poured Jimmy a coffee. We started talking. His dad served in Afghanistan. Good kid, just trying to pay for community college. But all those fake incident reports, they were building my case. I kept waving at Bethany's window. She started melting down. Called code enforcement. Said my folding chair and tackle box were unpermitted structures. The code officer, Dave, just shook his head. Ma'am, it's a folding chair. But Bethany kept going. She started calling my old Navy commanders, digging for dirt about my mental health. Tried to paint me as a dangerous veteran. Here's the thing. I called my old CO, Commander Peterson. He laughed when I told him. Some real estate lady called asking if you were unstable. I told her you were the most level-headed sailor I ever commanded. He warned me, though, she's building toward a legal case. Lawyer up. And so I did. Marcus and I documented everything. The bogus fines. The nepotism contracts. The neighborhood was starting to turn. Mrs. Kowalski invited me for Pyrgus, told me bullies hate backbone. The Hendersons' 8-year-old started learning to tie fishing knots with me on the dock. People saw through Bethany's act fast. Pretty soon, 12 families were openly backing me. But Bethany wasn't done. She tried to ban me with a restraining order, calling my morning coffee routine loitering with intent to disturb wildlife. She hired a private investigator, who turned out to be unlicensed. My CO made sure he was reported for impersonation. The final straw was when Mr. Patel, an accountant, started going over the HOA books. Found the 18 grand funneled to Bethany's family. The fines always landing on people who questioned her. At the next meeting, the room turned on her. Patel called for a forensic audit and a vote of no confidence. 38-3. Bethany was fired on the spot. You'd think it would end there, but nope. She scrambled for her last move. That's when I discovered the real twist. The lake's deed had a separate parcel number. HOA never owned it outright. The original developers kept fee simple. Ownership just gave the HOA the right to mow the grass. But they hadn't paid property taxes in years. County was about to auction the lake for back taxes. Minimum bid, 47 grand. And who was registered to bid? Bethany, through an LLC. Her plan, by the lake, then charge everyone premium fees for access. Or just ban us all. I called Marcus at 6 a.m. Can you help me get a loan? I have to outbid her. The next 6 weeks, my garage was war room central. Neighbors chipped in, Patel, the Hendersons, even Mrs. Kowalski. On auction day, we showed up at the courthouse. Whole crowd of us, plus news cameras. Bethany and her corporate investor looked like they'd seen a ghost. The bidding started. Bethany went up to 100 grand, desperate. I countered at 150, the whole community cheering me on. Sold. To me. And as the cameras rolled, I told everyone, ownership was going straight to the Willowbrook community, permanent restrictions, no fees, no usage limits, no board can ever take it away again. The place exploded in celebration. Bethany stormed out, alone. 6 months later, I'm sitting on the dock, Miranda's tackle box beside me, teaching Sarah Henderson to cast a line. The HOA is cleaned up, the lake belongs to the people, and we host the annual Freedom to Fish Festival. Bethany's family lost their contracts, she moved away, and the neighborhood's back to morning coffee and laughter. The lesson? Know your rights, document everything, and never let a bully convince you their authority is law. Communities are worth fighting for. So what's your HOA horror story? Drop a comment below. Let's make sure the good guys win every time.